This morning, some people living in City Heights are dealing with this huge mess after a driver crashed into a fire hydrant. Look at all that water. This happened just before 11:30 last night in the 2400 block of 45th Street. You see it on the map right there. The sheared fire hydrant sent a flood of water, causing some flooding in front of some apartment units. It is not clear if any of them are damaged. It's also not clear what caused the driver to crash into the hydrant or if the driver was hurt.
Firefighters worked quickly to put out a car fire last night. Happened just after 10 near the intersection of Hamishaw Road and Meadowbrook Drive. Not clear what caused the car to go up in flames. Nobody was hurt. It is 6 a.m. here on this Thursday. So glad you're with us. I'm Eric Connert.
And I'm Netta Irampour, getting ready for what's going to be a nice day out there. Meteorologist Vanessa Paz joining us. I will say I have my sights set on the weekend.
Right.
We're getting so close.
It's going to get warmer.
Pre-Friday here.
All right.
So it's actually great. I mean, mild temperatures to get us through the work week, and then it's going to be a lot warmer by the time we hit the weekend. So I know a lot of people are missing those warm temperatures in the 80s. I assure you they will return, especially for interior parts of the county. In the meantime, let's go ahead and give you a live look outside. Sun will fully rise here in about 10 minutes or so, setting tonight just before 6 p.m. But enjoy it because next week the sun is going to set a lot later. We are mostly cloudy to start off our Thursday. Those clouds may be thick enough to hinder visibility out there and also squeeze out some light drizzle and heavy mist. Current temperatures out the door, we're seeing mostly scattered 50s with the exception of downtown San Diego, waking up at 60 degrees. We are going to warm up into the 70s for the inland valleys as well as the coastal areas, but we do have some changes on the way starting tomorrow. We'll take a deeper dive into that a little later. 6:02 is the time. Let's go ahead and switch gears and see what's happening outside on your freeways. You're taking a live look on the 5 in both directions right at East Street. Far right screen is showcasing that drive northbound in from Chula Vista headed towards National City. You could see a good amount of brake tapping as you make your way towards that 54 split. This is supposed to be the 805 right at Division, but it looks like the camera is facing the sky. That's what it looks like. Let's go ahead and take a look at your traffic. Speeds right now anywhere between 70, 75 miles per hour coming in from the North County. No major issues nor delays out of the East County. And then if you're headed northbound, a little bit of slowing out near the 54, but it flushes out once you get towards the Coronado Bridge. Back to you guys.
Well, this morning, all lanes are now open on the 15 near Friars Road in Mission Valley after a semi-truck overturned. Caltrans posted an update around 1 o'clock this morning. It started around 2 p.m. Only one lane was open right before the afternoon rush, leading to a traffic backup yesterday. Crews removed the truck and cleaned up a fuel spill. No word on any injuries.
And now this just in, an Iranian government agency says more than 1,200 people have died in the war. Overnight, Iran warned that the U.S. will, quote, bitterly regret sinking one of its warships as it launches new attacks towards American and Israeli bases. U.S. officials say the U.S. will start striking deeper into Iran. Yesterday, the Senate rejected a war powers resolution that would have required the Trump administration to get congressional approval to continue military operations. A similar version in the House is also projected to face an uphill battle. And the Pentagon has now released the final 2 names of the 6 U.S. service members killed in Kuwait by an Iranian strike over the weekend. You see their images right here. Major Jeffrey O'Brien of Iowa and Chief Warrant Officer 3 Robert Marzan of Sacramento. Turning to other local news here now, new this morning, the San Diego County Board of Supervisors approved an ordinance that will allow for the separate sale of accessory dwelling units, those also known as granny flats. Yeah,
these ADUs here, the goal is to make more affordable housing in the county. News 8's Tori Apodaca live outside the county admin building to explain what all of this means here. Tori.
Good morning. Those ADUs have really become increasingly popular over the past decade or so as a more affordable housing option for people. And now with this change in ordinance, homeowners will be able to sell their ADUs as basically condos. These ADUs are additional housing units built alongside a primary residence on a property. The goal is to encourage ownership and keep the ADUs from getting bought up by investors while also reducing any confusion for builders and benefiting taxpayers. The change aligns the county with a state law that took effect in 2024. Supervisor Jim Desmond says the policy wasn't a perfect solution, but a step in the right direction. During discussion, Desmond said, quote, We need housing, and the ADUs make up a large portion of our new construction in San Diego County, unfortunately. If we're gonna adopt an ordinance, I want it to be as flexible as possible to give home builders room to make their projects work. And people can start purchasing these ADUs in just 30 days when this new ordinance takes effect. As far as the supervisors here, they're going to be putting together a presentation over the next few months on how to best support new homeowners and also to give the people who currently live in those ADUs the first option at purchasing those units. Reporting from downtown, Tori Apodaca, News 8.
Tori, thank you. You know, Mexico, of course, a go-to destination for spring breakers, right? But this morning, the U.S. is now issuing a travel warning.
Has a lot of people wondering if they should change their plans. Right. The warning comes as parts of Mexico deal with escalating crime and cartel violence that we've been reporting here. News 8's Chris Groh live at San Diego International with what people need to know if they are planning that trip. Chris, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, guys. So the State Department went ahead and put this out because they know that a lot of folks are about to go on to spring break, and many of them may insist on still going on those trips at a time in which, again, it has been identified that there is rising violence and crime going on in Mexico. And so they're putting out this warning so that people have the information that they need to have in order to stay safe. But remember, a lot of this can also be used when traveling abroad to really any country. Now, as for what the U.S. Embassy as well as the State Department is saying here, travelers should be especially cautious in downtown areas of popular places like Cancun, Playa del Carmen, and Tulum, particularly at night. The embassy is warning about the drug laws in Mexico. Possession of drugs, even small amounts, can lead to jail time in Mexico. Weapons are also illegal there. In fact, even an empty shell casing can get you in trouble. So that is something that you want to make sure is clear from any of your travel bags. A lot of times people can accidentally have those in their bags. And of course, they then face the consequences. Private hospital prices can be higher than in the U.S. and may require upfront payment. So make sure that your health or travel insurance covers care outside the United States. And officials are saying one of the best ways to stay safe, of course, stay away from your surroundings, stick with friends, and use regulated transportation. Of course, the State Department says that most Americans, when they travel to Mexico, of course, are safe, but they want to make sure that this information and these tips are out there, especially because in light of what is going on in recent months. Back to you guys in studio.
All right, thank you for that, Chris. You know, maybe a staycation this weekend. Seems like it's going to be pretty nice here, right?
It's going to be really nice. I know.
Yeah.
Why not, really? Sure, we're dealing with slightly cooler temperatures this week, but I assure you we are going to have a warm-up come Friday and Saturday, all due to the return of Santa Ana winds. It's cloudy out there. It looks like visibility for the most part close to the surface is in pretty good shape, but you may want to check with your airlines if you are headed to San Diego International Airport and ensure that you don't have any delays. All right, taking a look at our satellite and radar composite, let's go ahead and start there. We are looking at cloudy skies from the coast all the way towards interior parts of the county, hugging the foothill passes and canyons this morning. We will have a mix of sun and clouds as we progress into the mid-morning, eventually through the afternoon, and we will warm up into the 70s. In fact, plenty of 70s to go around from the coast all the way towards the inland valleys. We'll be touching in the mid-70s for most of those neighborhoods. Take a look at that, just mid-70s for everyone from Fallbrook all the way down to Chula Vista. Closer to 80 degrees for El Cajon. That'll be one of our warmer spots this afternoon. Quite cool in Julian at 60, and we'll be in the mid-70s for Borrego Springs. All right, here's another live look outside facing downtown San Diego. This is from our Mount Soledad Skycam. So you can see that it's not very clear. You could typically see the lights of downtown San Diego. You can kind of make those out. And it is due to those low-lying clouds that are hanging out with us to start off our day. 60 degrees, winds are fairly light, especially in comparison to last night. That's when those onshore winds really peaked, especially for the county's eastern half. But they're subsiding as we're starting off our Thursday, 3 miles per hour. So lots of moisture in the air here, humidity at about 75%. Conditions right now, we are waking up in the high 50s. In downtown IB, Carlsbad, a little cooler out in Ramona, so grab a jacket if you're headed out of that neighborhood this morning. And we're at 43 degrees currently in Julian. Here's a teaser of your 5-day forecast for the inland valleys. Notice how today is quite comfortable, mix of sun and clouds, and then we're clearing out as we have the return of offshore flow, also known as Santa Ana winds, come tomorrow, lasting all the way through the weekend. All right, 6:10 is the time. Let's go ahead and see what's happening outside. This is the 5 in both directions right at Old Town Ave. Right side of your screen is a northbound drive as you make your way into Linda Vista, Sunset Cliffs, Point Loma. Maybe you're headed towards the 8. And yeah, it's looking like a parade of brake lights coming in from Chula Vista. In fact, this is that drive on the 5 North as you hit the 54 on-ramp into the mile of cars. All right, we are still at average speeds. I took a look at the CAT a couple minutes ago and we are not tracking any major delays or crashes. Always happy to report that. About 70, 75 miles per hour if you're headed southbound coming in from Oceanside and Escondido, about 65, 70 mile per hour speeds in from Santee La Mesa. And here's what it looks like for those northbound drives in from the South Bay. A lot of brake tapping northbound in from Chula Vista on the 5 near mile of cars. And we're now seeing a little bit of slowing in from Coronado. As we take a look at your drive times, 10 to 15 northbound in from San Isidro and National City up to the 8. Full span of the Coronado Bridge, about 12 minutes. Let's go ahead and pull up those border wait times at 6:11. We're tracking about an hour and a half for both of those drives coming across from San Isidro's port of entry, as well as Otay Mesa at last check.